So today we're going to be continuing to take a look at a scenario where civilization starts over. Now, in the last episode, it was World War One, or not World War One, World War Two, and well, we had a new country that popped up called the Southern French Union. They took a lot of land. Like there's three pretty much OG countries that died. Being the brown Italians, the purple French, and then the golden Germans. By the way, I have to add capitals for some of these new countries. Um yeah, so the I have wait, do I have them on the wrong layer? No, I don't. I just have some capitals not there. So the capital of the Orange team will be in Brittany. This guy's capital will be right there, and the Dutch capital will be brought back to what it was before they got wrecked in like episode 9. Anyways, today we're going to be taking a look at the whole world map getting filled in. So over here in Sweden, or not Sweden, what am I saying? In Greenland, we see this whole entire island being discovered. By the way, this is kind of weird because uh, it probably should have happened a little bit ago. It doesn't matter anymore now. Also, what is going on with the thing? Okay, there you go. All of this U.S. Aid area is just taken, and then Alaska is seen by some people in Siberia, and just all this Canadian area will be taken by the people known as Europeans. And for South America, the same thing will happen. All of this land down here will just go ahead and be explored. Now it's time for Australia. Oh, never mind. For some reason, I was still thinking we were in Pookie Mapper. Anyways, yeah, so the ocean has now fully been explored, and, well, now we don't have to deal with that anymore. Unexplored lands or unexplored ocean, we don't have to deal with any of that anymore, so that is a plus for all of us. And we will also be seeing the filling in of the Americas and South America. I just said the Americas, and I was gonna say Antarctica, but it's not on this map. I might add it later, maybe if I really feel like it. Yeah. So, anyways, for the claims, we see that all of Greenland is going to go ahead and get uh taken by the Scottish. They claim a pretty good I mean, this territory probably won't be too useful because it's just Greenland. But we also see them taking a lot of these Canadian Isles over here. They take a lot of them in the east, the east, and it's actually going very far up north until they eventually stop right there, and they will just take the rest of these right like that. And well, now Scotland will stop their exploration, except if you take some islands right there. But now they stop, as well the rest of the countries are gonna go ahead and get their claim. So let's go ahead and take a look at the claim of the red team. It'll be pretty big because this will be the last claim of America's. So the red team will get all of that land right there. That is a very large portion of land, including all of Alaska and all of, or most of Canada. And well, yeah, so the red team now stretches all the way out there. And well, you can only guess on who will own this piece of land. But it actually will be divided a little bit with the elves, the elf Texan country, getting a lot of land. Let's go ahead and see what they get all of this. That is a really good claim of land for an elf country. And, well, that is good for them. And, yeah. It's a new elf pink country form up right here. And that looks like that. So, there we go. And, well, for the rest of this land, it will be divided up between the Eurasian colonizers. And I say Eurasian because this guy exists. The blue team will get all this land, which stretches to the Pacific, and I actually might change that border because it looks really repetitive. I guess so is this. I'm gonna change a lot of these borders. I'll be right back. China will gain all of this land right here. A very good claim for this Asian power, and some disputes over Baja California do exist. However, they aren't too bad. Also, what is happening right here? What in the what? By the way, Hawaii does go to China. And of course, the rest of this land right here will just go to this southern French country, the Southern French Union. And well, yeah, so now all of North America has been fully colonized. This is a very interesting map because in the south there are a lot of small independent nations. And well, yeah, they're just the colonizers. They're the colonizers here too. But now it's time for the division of South America, which will be a little bit more neat and less horrible borders like this right here. This looks really weird. So does this. Not as weird. Still looks stupid. So this English team's claim is right there, and I did see somebody say, "Why aren't you doing the orange kind of color, the outline?" Just because it does not look like it would just take a really long time to do it. And I am gonna change some of these borders specifically right over here because these kind of look similar to the Aegis Pro borders. So I'm just gonna create a couple of straight lines here and there, just so it looks a little bit more, a little less repetitive. However, that doesn't look beautiful. This will be the Peruvian team's claim, or not the Peruvian team, the country that's in Peru, the Welsh Irish Union. They claim all of this land. Pretty good claim. The Southeast Asian Union will claim all of this Argentinian land slash Chile land, and that is a large claim. And let's go ahead and take a look at the claim of the Australians, which probably won't be too big. So yeah, it's mainly just a bunch of North Argentinian slash Bolivian land. Not really Bolivia. Bolivia is more over like right here, so kind of Bolivian land. And then, of course, the rest of this is just gonna go ahead and go to the Blue Iberians. And well, yeah, there is our new map of the world, fully customized or whatever, and it fully has countries on it. Very interesting. Yeah, so the world map has just been explored fully. And expanded on fully in this one episode. That's pretty weird. Normally would happen through a series of episodes, but I just wanted to get it done and over because I'm gonna say decolonization is actually gonna start way earlier than you might think. There's already some new independent countries in Africa from the former gold team, and also like some of these colonies that were formerly part of like the gold team, the purple team. They were like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna gain independence," but no, they're just swapped to a new colonizer. So these guys are not very happy about that. And well, the teams that own them, like the red team, the blue team, the English, the purple French, Southern French Union, the uh, like everybody that owns land there, they don't really want to let it go, but they know they're ultimately gonna have to. Just not right now. It will happen in the future though. Coming back over here to the Central Asian region, we can remember that the Lime Team, this country, they had a civil war and this orange country popped out of it. And well, that orange country is now once again invading into the Lime Team. Womp womp for them, as their capital is immediately taken. And they just rapidly advance to the populated areas, which is in the south, in this area right here. But then the Lime team is just gonna capitulate. They don't surrender. They literally capitulate. Their country falls. They had a very unstable government, and they are fully whoa. They are fully annexed into the orangish brown empire, kind of. And well, the capital no longer. Well, what? What? I don't know what is going on. Oh, so their capital for some reason was sieged on the background layer that was never taken off. Weird. And you couldn't see it because the capital layer was there. But anyways, coming up north to this area right here, we can remember that, well, the green country invaded the pink team that was down here, and the green country still wants land, so they're gonna go ahead and start their invasion of the red team. Now, the red team is a very weak country. They just gained all this land, and to be honest, they cannot really. They just can't help. They can't manage all this land at once, and pretty much all of the land right here uh just capitulates. And well, yeah, they can't really hold on to it because now after they used to own all this, but then the pink team invaded, they were reduced to this little area, and they moved all the government assets, and now they have to move it back all over here, and it's just not going well. This is the most populated part now, but eventually the capital is seized and taken. And well, in the peace treaty we can see that the red team is fully annexed. They're gone from humanity, and their capital is erased. And well, now that green country is looking a lot better on the map and a lot more presentable. Now it doesn't look like a virus kind of killing the red team, even though it is a virus that killed the red. So yeah, interesting things happening in Central Asia. A rebellion will form up in these Japanese isles right here who just don't want to be a part. This is mostly the Korean rebels. They're not funded by Korea, but these are just a bunch of people from Japan who just don't want to be a part of it. Now, the brown team, they would fight against it, and they do a little bit of fighting. However, they realize it's just not feasible at this moment to do so, as these blue rebellions have most of the population of Japan under their belt. So yeah, and well, that is no longer part of the brown Japanese country, and the blue Japanese country will now have their capital in this city right here, which is kind of close to the capital that the blue Japanese country in Adis Pro is located. Anyways, time for a really big war. This is between the Australians and the Southeast Asian Union. So the Australians, once again, the Southeast Asians lay claim to a lot of this island. That includes this major city right here, and then these two islands that have two major cities on them. And really, they claim pretty much all of this land. All of this land right here is claimed by the Southeast Asians. And well, if you're wondering why I put a light purple color, well, you can already wonder what's gonna happen, or you already know what's gonna happen. As purple team troops, that's not the red border. Purple team troops are going to move in towards parts of the Australians, and they start moving to one of the major cities, and they capture it with relative ease, as there isn't many people living here to defend. Now, not the Indonesians, the Australians are gonna go ahead and say, hey, or not the what am I saying? The Southeast Asian Unioners are gonna go ahead and say, hey, we got really what we needed. And in fact, we just invaded these two islands right here. Just give us the land, give us all of what we invaded. The red team is going to say no to this offer, and the red team is going to start their invasion of the Southeast Asian Union, capturing this major city, and then they do something very interesting called trying to do an encirclement so that it scares the purple team to retreating. And for some reason, the purple team doesn't do this, and they're just encircled. So now the Australians are at a loss what to do. They will take all this area, and they will start to advance more back into their country. However, these purple team troops are they're very good. This city right here is recaptured. However, the Australians just cannot do anything about this here. It's very hard frontline to fight. Purple team troops are getting sent over here. However, it isn't really doing anything because the Australians have actually captured the whole island. Not good for Southeast Asian Union. Yeah, not good for them. Not good for them at all. However, they do make a landing right here in this part of Australia, and the Australians kind of were expecting this. However, it wasn't expecting as early. And well, this is pretty powerful. And these troops up here, sorry, I'm eating a popsicle right now. These troops up here know that there's this group down here, so they're gonna go ahead and spearhead. This is a very dangerous move, as some troops could get encircled and cut off. However, they eventually do get there, and they not only cut off these troops, they also cut off this little island, or not island, but piece of land, and they take it as well as this piece of land. And well, now the Southeast Asians have a very good grasp over this island, and they start to move to where these troops are. But the thing is that now Australia is setting up a naval front right here. It's a pretty good naval front. And the Southeast Asians were like, oh no, because first of all, this is way far away, and people from these Solomon Islands and all these islands start to enlist in the military, and they are really good at island hopping. In fact, they get a lot of their coast back, and they get all the northern coast back, and they even get most of the southern coast back over here in this region, and that is really good. The troops eventually arrive, and it destroys the Southeast Asians in this area. Not good for them. But then this area that is now not occupied by the military is just gonna go ahead and declare independence. And well, now this war has ended, and I guess the losers, I guess they're both losers, but the most important loser is the Southeast Asians, as they lost their grasp on Papua New Guinea. And the capital of this Papua New Guinea country will be right here. Pretty good. So yeah, the next thing we see someone doing is India. the North Indian Federation. They're going to be making their own economical alliance. In Ada's Pro, he does it green. I'm going to actually do it white because it's just easier to look at. And that's going to go ahead to be the Triangle Alliance or the Triangle Economical Alliance. Also, I have to switch these guys over to white now that it's not white or green anymore. And they form this with some close allies, such as Australia. Wow, that is a really big triangle. Yemen, they form it with Yemen, who is a decently strong country, the strongest country in Arabia now. And also this new orange country, well, not new orange country, but this orange country up here. And, well, they have a pretty far out alliance that spreads through the Indian Ocean. But anyways, that is going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.